Okay, it's 8 o'clock, so we are going to go ahead and get started. Thanks so much for being here, everybody. Welcome to the Southern Large webinar hosted by Future Peds Res. We are so happy to have you all here, whether you are part of a program, whether that be program director, program coordinator, associate program director, or if you are a student looking to learn more about the large programs of the South, we welcome you tonight. This is our 15th webinar of the summer webinar series. So we are so happy that you've stuck with us this whole time. Yes, and I just want to say one huge thank you to the entire Future Peds Res team for making this all happen. This team has been absolutely wonderful. So just big shout out to them for making it through to 15 total webinars so far. We are going to go ahead and move forward here. So my name is Caroline Maltese. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a fourth-year student at Penn State College of Medicine, and I proudly serve as one of the co-directors for the Future Peds Res organization for this year. I work alongside Stephanie Maeda. Her pronouns are she, her. She's a fourth-year student at Western University of Health Sciences. Unfortunately, she was not able to be with us tonight, but she works diligently behind the scenes to make these webinars happen as well. So just want to say a huge thank you and give her a shout out. Okay, and before we start, I would like to acknowledge our APPD faculty advisors. First, Dr. Michael Dell, who is the Vice Chair of Education at Case Western Reserve University School of Medicine, as well as Colleen Hughes, who is the Associate Executive Director for APPD. And I would also like to acknowledge our ComCEP faculty advisor, Dr. Rachel Thompson. She is the Assistant Professor of Pediatrics and Director of Pediatric Undergraduate Medical Education at Boston University Chobanian and Avedisian School of Medicine. These individuals have made tonight possible, and without their support, we would be nowhere. So we just want to say thank you so much to all of these individuals. All right, and it is my pleasure to introduce to you the Assistant Director of Webinars for the Southern Region.
Hi everyone, my name is Erin Nieskern and I am a MS4 at the University of Colorado School of Medicine.
Hi everyone, my name is Faria Fadma and I'm the Assistant Director of Webinars and Equity. I'm an MS4 at the Texas College of Osteopathic Medicine.
Hi, I'm Victoria Santos from Brazil, a 50-year medical student.
Hi everyone, my name is Diana Orabweza. I am a third-year medical student at Penn State College of Medicine, and I'm happy to be here with you guys today.
Hi everyone, my name is Kirtana George. My pronouns are she. I'm the Assistant Director of Social Media, and I'm an MS4 at Texas Tech University in Lubbock.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ria Peralta. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a fourth-year medical student at Nova Southeastern University. Thanks for coming.
And we would also like to introduce our FPR Webinar Associate Director, who's working very hard behind the scenes tonight, Sheena.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sheena Bedi. My pronouns are she, her. I am an international medical graduate from D.Y. Patil College, India, and I proudly serve as the Associate Director of Webinars for FPR this season.
Welcome to everyone joining us tonight. We're so excited to have you with us at the Southern Region Large Programs Webinar. Thank you to all the program directors and assistants, as well as representatives who have taken time out to be with us as part of the Future Peds Res Regional Webinar Series. The goals for our webinar series include providing pediatric residency applicants with foundational knowledge surrounding the application/interview season, well-rounded insight into participating programs by region, and devoted time for live Q&A. All right, and then we'll be revisiting this at the end, but just want to let you know we will be continuing our webinar series with our Northeast Large Programs webinar up next on August 19th. Please scan the QR code or click on the Zoom link that's dropped in the chat for the one-time registration for all of our webinars. Before officially meeting our programs, we will hear from our APPD representative of the Southern Region states. We will then begin program presentations, during which time applicants will learn about programs and have an opportunity to ask questions during the live Q&A session. This presentation will be recorded, so if you're interested in learning about other programs that are not in your breakout room, have no fear, we are on the YouTube, so check us out afterwards.
I would now like to introduce our participating programs for tonight.
All right, attendees, please take a moment to pull out your cell phones and snap a picture of your screen to easily refer back to when bouncing around breakout rooms. This slide will also remain shared in the main room during the entire webinar. We will now be going into our breakout rooms. Throughout the webinar, you can ask questions using the chat box or on Zoom. You can also amplify insights on what you have learned from the webinar on Twitter/X using hashtag FPRWebinar and hashtag PedsMatch2025. We will now give everyone a few minutes to join their respective rooms. If you have any questions or just don't know how to join the breakout room or need any assistance at all, just go to the main room and Caroline will be here to help you out, okay? Feel free to hop around the rooms and let us know if you have any questions. Enjoy tonight.
Okay, everyone, we are officially getting started for tonight. Welcome to room 1 for the Southern Region Large Programs webinar. My name is Faria. I'm in a 4th year at Texas College of Osteopathic Medicine here in the wonderful West South Central region. Today, I will be your moderator, and I would like to introduce our wonderful Associate Director of Webinars who will be working behind the scenes for the room, Sheena. Okay, Sheena's sharing her screen, so we're going to go ahead and move into our first program of the evening. Just a reminder that we invite each of our program representatives to please give a short presentation for 5 minutes. We'll take questions throughout the session in the chat, and we'll have a dedicated live Q&A session at the end where attendees can ask program directors and representatives any questions that they may have. Attendees, please leave your question in the chat as you go. We encourage program representatives to make use of the chat to answer any questions you are able to ensure that all programs are adequately represented. Each presentation is limited to 5 minutes. I'll be sharing a timer on the top corner of my screen to help with the tracking throughout the presentation. And officially, we welcome our first program of the evening, Baylor College of Medicine, Houston. I'd like to invite Dr. Resmiller to unmute and please share your program with us.
All right, well, thank you so much and welcome everyone. It's fantastic to see some familiar faces and some new faces. So thank you all for joining us, and thank you to the webinar organizers for giving us the opportunity to talk about our programs. So my name is Brian Rismiller. I am the current program director for the Baylor College of Medicine Houston program. I will start off by saying the Baylor College of Medicine has a lot of different programs, so it's very, very confusing. So if you have any questions, please reach out to any of us and we'll point you in the right direction or put questions in the chat, and I can try and help sort through our very complicated naming and places and things like that. So my program is affiliated with Texas Children's Hospital, which is in Houston, Texas. Our program highlights and so our curricular things are on the screen. I'm not going to go into super detail about any of that. I think all that I like to say on this thing is that our hospital is very, very large, and we see everything from kind of absolute most basic pediatric care to super complex stuff. So regardless of whether you're interested in primary care pediatrics or, you know, the super subspecialized areas of medicine, I think we have stuff to offer you. We have fantastic faculty that have been with us for many years and are always excited to work with residents, whether that's clinically or research and advocacy. We have pretty much anything that you could be looking for. I would be remiss if I said I didn't say, I actually came here for residency. I grew up in the Northeast, did med school up there, and transplanted to Texas. I thought it was going to be for 3 years for residency training, but haven't left. So it's a fantastic place to live and work. And Houston's a great city to live in if you're interested in trying something new. I don't want to take up too much time, but happy to take questions. As it says on our thing there, we do look at international medical graduates. We only are able to sponsor J1 visas. That's kind of an institutional rule. So did want to point that out to anyone that's important to. Being in Texas, we have a unique relationship with the words DE or the letters DEI, but I think we have an institutional commitment to being as diverse as the patients we serve, is how I'll put it. And with that, I will certainly answer any questions, but I will give back time to the whole group My email is readily available. I don't think it's on there, but I'll put it in the chat. If anyone has particular questions, I am happy to answer them at any point in time.
Thank you so much for your presentation, Dr. Miller. We'll be moving on to our next program of the evening. We welcome the representative from Dell Medical School to please introduce yourself and share your program with us.
Hi, good evening. I am Natalie Willis. I'm one of our 4 chief residents here to represent our program this evening. On our screen, you see our wonderful program director, Dr. Sharon Sangave, and our 2 amazing program coordinators, Mark and Pam, who I've gotten to know very closely so far this year. Our program has a lot to offer. We are one of the first pilot programs to go through the X+Y curriculum. And so I think we're really committed to resident wellness, and a lot of things have come from that pilot program. We are a level 1 trauma center, have fellowships in a few different fields, and are continually growing our program. But with that, you also get a lot of unique experience being the frontline provider and getting a lot of one-on-one close contact with attendings, while also still having a view of what that fellowship role looks like if that's something you're interested in. We have a very large cardiac ICU and cardiac step-down unit that's continually expanding that we really appreciate. We are in Austin, which means that our program has easy access to the state capitol for advocacy curriculum and advocacy projects, just noting that we are just a mere few miles away from the state capitol, which makes it very accessible. We have a rotating advocacy curriculum in which residents participate and create various work products. We've done podcasts, we've done op-eds, we've done legislative crash courses, which is one of our real favorite program initiatives, is working towards advocacy. We are a large hospital that has 262 beds and lots of different subspecialties, but I think we feel quite small and close-knit. Our residents get to work very closely with attendings and are able to kind of foster those true one-on-one connections. Even though we're a larger program, we feel very small. Austin has a lot to offer when it comes to the city, and if you guys ever have questions about that, any of us would be happy to answer that. We are caring for a very diverse patient population. We have opportunities for global health initiatives to go to Puebla, Mexico, and we also go to Kenya on a more of a clinical rotation. And the other thing I would say about our program, as I'm kind of wrapping up closer to my time, would be that our program is very committed to individualized learning curriculums. And if you have an idea for an elective experience that you want to take on, we are more than happy to help create that, whether that be working with our cardiac surgeons on a cardiac surgery elective rotation, becoming lactation certified, and doing a breastfeeding elective, having our new parent elective for a lot of our residents who choose to have children during residency. Really, if you dream it, you can achieve it here, and our program leadership will make sure that whatever your ideas are, we will be sure to help create that and cultivate that experience for you. I'll drop my email in the chat, and our website has all of our program directors' informations and APD for other questions, and we'd be happy to answer anything that we can to help you guys on your journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the presentation, Dr. Willis. We'll be moving on to our next program of the evening. I welcome Dr. Naife from the University of Oklahoma Health Sciences Center to introduce her program to us.
Hi, everybody. I actually had one of my APDs join. Dr. Cave, I think, is in the room. And then my coordinator, I think, is also here, Laura. So you guys feel free to jump in if you want to add something. I always love this webinar. It's actually one of my favorite things of the whole year because so many people attend. It's funny that we got included in the large program group this year because I don't think of us as a large program. But we actually have a total, I think, this year of 69 residents. And if we're able to find one more salary, we'll recruit another 24, hopefully this year to make 70. And then the following year, hope to recruit 24 again. Our program, I think, like the others have said on the call so far, it feels very close-knit. We do entertain all applicants. We participate in a holistic review in our program, and we do sponsor J1 visas. So that has been great for us. It's allowed us to really increase our diversity in our program, and we've kind of loved where we've gotten with that so far. Oklahoma, similar to Texas, has a unique relationship. I think Dr. Rissmiller said it really well with the words or the letters DEI. But I agree, our program and our institution has a really deep commitment to training physicians that look like our patients. And we have quite a diverse patient population. We're the only children's hospital in the state of Oklahoma. And therefore, I think serve as a referral center for patients from all over the state. And you see a range of pathologies. All the way from sort of your typical bread and butter to the most complex and sort of different things that really make you think and work hard to find treatment or at least a path forward. I'm proud to say that we were number 16 in best places to live in Oklahoma City, and our little city is growing and we really love it. It's still easy to get around. It takes really no more than 15 to 20 minutes to get anywhere from the Health Sciences Center even to Edmond. Which is kind of a little bit further out removed. So that's kind of nice. We are also on an X+Y schedule. This is, I think, our 4th year of that. And I'm going to tell you, I think if we went back, our residents would revolt because we love X+Y, and it's given us a great opportunity to develop a robust simulation program and a hands-on quality improvement program. We have a DEI track and are working to develop some experience is in rural medicine and hope to partner with the tribes in Oklahoma to provide some experiences in federally qualified health centers in areas that are populated by Native Americans. So that is a really exciting up and coming thing that we're working towards. I'm trying to remember what else I was going to say. I feel like we're constantly sort of pushing and moving forward. We're working to bring back our global health curriculum. Our internal medicine residents currently travel to a place in Mexico. We used to take our residents to Africa, to Ghana, but we haven't been able to do that since COVID. But we're hoping to develop a relationship in the same place where our internal medicine residents currently go in Mexico over the course of the next year. I would also suggest that I always laugh and say to residents, I have rarely said no to an elective. So anyone who comes in and says, hey, I want to do this, and this is how I want to do it, I usually sort of say, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Let's put that together for you. So I would say we're sort of flexible and are really interested in training residents to be who they want to be. We really like to make physicians make the best physicians, the physicians the best they can be according to their own intentions, right? We like for the trainee to really consider where they would like to end up. And then we like to say that we help you make your way that way. I didn't leave very long, but do you have anything to add, Andy or Laura?
I'll just say hi really quick. I'm Andy Cave, one of the associate program directors and cardiologist. And I love being part of the leadership group and the residency, and really looking forward to meeting hopefully several of you during the interview process. So good luck to everybody.
I'll drop my email in the chat also.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nafe and Dr. Cave. We'll be moving on to our next program of the evening. We welcome the representatives from UT Health Houston to please start us off. Dr. Novi and Dr. Patel.
Hi, guys. I'm Tyler. I'm one of the chief residents at UT Houston. Shreya Patel is one of the other chief residents. And then one of our associate program directors, Mona Lisa Evangelista, is also on this call. So we're able to answer questions for y'all. But yeah, I just want to talk with y'all about Houston, our residency program. So we're also in Houston. We're just down the street from Texas Children's. But Houston is a plenty big enough city, a plenty diverse enough city that there's plenty of patients for all of us to see. So for us at UT Houston, we're also a quaternary care pediatric center. So we have very busy ICU, very busy NICUs of different levels. We have floor beds, we have IMU beds, plenty of beds for you to get training on, and just becoming the best pediatrician that you possibly can. We are also on an XY schedule as well. Like many other programs, we've switched over to that, and every year we make slight changes just based off of feedback from residents and how can we be making this better for resident wellness? How can we reduce burnout? How can we just make sure the rotations are actually educational? So that's one thing that I like is it's definitely X+Y, it's staying in place. But every year I feel like we make it better. And including next year when we have to start incorporating new ACGME requirements that all residency programs are going to have to do. We're going to stick with our X+Y schedule, just making slight changes in order to make sure we're meeting our requirements. A few other things about our program. So in addition to X+Y, we're pretty flexible, I would say, with especially getting into your second and third year with any kind of electives that you want, whether you want to get better at procedures, get better at ultrasound, spend all your time in the emergency room, or never be in clinic for like your electives. We have all the possible options for you to do that. And that's something that I like is we're big enough, we're a big enough hospital, we have enough subspecialties. You can kind of get lost within your own specialty if you want, or you can have a little taste of everything around. Our clinical sites that we work at are Children's Memorial Hermann, so literally on the same street as Texas Children's Hospital. So we're a busy emergency center, we're a busy hospital, we see plenty of kids, you'll get great training, but also be around a bunch of great residents. Honestly, as a chief right now, I'm kind of missing like not being in the resident lounge that's like in our main children's hospital, because there's usually snacks and lots of good conversations and really good people there. That's Children's Memorial Hermann. We also work at LBJ Hospital, which is a Harris Health that works as a community county hospital, helping provide care for underinsured and uninsured patients. Also work at MD Anderson Hospital, which is one of the top cancer centers in the country, taking care of kids in that unit. And then obviously we're with the UT system. So there are UT physician clinics that hold all of our general outpatient clinics and our subspecialty clinics around the city of Houston. Things that I like about Houston, it's a diverse city. It's a hot city, but that means it's also not cold in the winter, which I kind of like. Plenty of things to do, festivals, plenty of food. There's so many reasons, like once you're not in the hospital, to hang out with friends, and you do have plenty of time to still do that with your fellow colleagues. So that is something else that I really like about the city. Kind of touching on our DEI projects and just electives in general. If there's anything that you're interested in, whether that's a community that you belong with, a community you identify with, a community that you want to reach out to, we have so many mentors, such a big program that there is bound to be someone who can help you with a project, whether that's QI, clinical advocacy. We have people going over overseas to do global health projects. So I feel like we have just a really good balance, a lot of faculty members who can help you with any kind of project that you want. And that's why I like some of these larger programs is you're bound to find someone that will help you out with the project. Shreya or Dr. Evangelista, do y'all have any other things to add in?
I don't really have anything else to add. I think you did a fantastic job of highlighting the things that I love about this program. I'm Elisa, by the way. I'm the APD for the pediatric residency. I've been here in this institution for close to about 20 years now. I was a graduate of this program. I'm very proud of the training that I received. And also, we are continuously evolving and growing as well. Just like what Tyler has mentioned, our global health program has expanded, as well as we are actually acquiring a new A&I fellowship as well. And so we have some exciting areas that I feel like is continuously growing. So.
And I'll put my email in the chat as well if anyone wants to reach out about UT Houston. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Novi and Dr. Evangelista. We'll be moving on to our next program. I welcome Dr. McKinney from UT Southwestern.
Truly a pleasure to be here. I want to just thank the folks who organized this again this year and how impressed we were when this first started during COVID. The fact that you can connect with this many programs and you can do it in ways that aren't expensive and that we've been able to transition to virtual interviewing, I think because of supplemental opportunities like this, it's really impressive. So thanks for organizing it. I will give an overview, and then we have 3 other folks from our program. I will try to leave some time for them to introduce themselves and say hi, and I notice they're also responding to some of the text questions. So I've been here for about 15 years now, got recruited to be residency program director then. Actually, I noticed that's the picture when I came here. I've gotten gray hair since then, and I have loved it here. So a little more than half of my practice career has been here. I've enjoyed everywhere I've worked, but I've not enjoyed anywhere as much as UT Southwestern. I think since I'm on service this week, my census list right now, I'm an infectious disease doctor, includes someone who we think has typhus and also someone who we think has typhoid. Just give you an idea about the sort of range of patients we could take care of. And because we are the main hospital for Dallas, and if you're from Texas, you already know this, if you're not from Texas, the worst health insurance rates in the country, we take care of everybody. And we are really proud of that. So we are a safety net hospital. We're also affiliated with Parkland. And so you get a chance to be exposed to patients, conditions, challenges that they face in ways that are just profoundly educational. We started X+Y among the first batch, and actually Andy Yu, who's with us today, was one of the original pilot program designers. We've tried to tweak it as things have gone along. We've loved it. We've built out an extensive set of outpatient clinics throughout the Metroplex, many times from our alumni who come here and decide to stay, also from other affiliated practices that are interested in teaching and, frankly, learning from our residents. Our elective system has been probably the primary source of creativity for me since I got here, because with adequate planning, you can do about anything with an elective. So, we have at least 40 now. Some of those electives have led to actual programs. So our complex and chronic care program was one of the first electives we built for PGY2. She did such a good job building it out. Our chair built that entire program around her, and then she started it. So we're very proud of the people we attract here. I think that this part of the country has very favorable demographics for pediatricians, lots of kids. We need good doctors here. This city has very good demographics for people who want to practice medicine, because we've broken ground on a new $5 billion hospital, which is going to desperately need good physicians to staff it. And so I think we're doing good work. I think we're innovative and creative. My best colleagues ever have been here. The other thing that is interesting for me to note is all of my colleagues tonight came up through this program, and I think have really made positive contributions and creative innovations through it. So with that, I will stop. Maybe I'll hand things off to Andy first. He's our senior APD, and then we'll see how we do with time.
Thanks, Dr. McKinney. My name's Andy Yu. I'm a pediatric hospitalist here at UT Southwestern at Children's. It's a pleasure to be here to see some familiar faces, and I'll echo what Dr. McKinney said about this just being a real highlight of the recruitment year, the Future Peds Res webinar series. Dr. McKinney said that he was recruited and has had a great time here. Dr. McKinney recruited me to stay on in residency here, and it's been a great time for me as well too. It's been a fantastic training opportunity here. I think Dr. McKinney covered a lot of the highlights. I think one of the things that I wanted to sort of emphasize for this audience and in this venue is, again, to piggyback on this concept of the North Texas region just being such a dynamic place to come train and to work. I think probably there'll be similar themes that a lot of the big cities in the southern region, which is everybody here tonight, but the population growth here since I got here 15 years ago, it does not look like it's letting up in any way, shape, or form. Growth has been the name of the game here in terms of the new tower that's opening up in Plano, the new pediatric downtown campus that's opening. And so this is the type of place where if you're looking to train and to look to set down some roots and to look for opportunities for the future, that's all here. It's a really dynamic place, not only to train, but to be a young professional, I'd say. It's just a very large growing city across a multitude of different industries. And so it's a really engaging and energizing place to be. I see we only have 30 seconds left, so I'm going to pause there and at least let our other colleagues, Radha and Kieran, introduce themselves. And I'm sorry I did not leave much time for you all to speak.
Hey, I'm Radha. I'm one of the current chiefs. I'm going to put my email in the chat. Feel free to reach out.
Yeah, I'm Karen Prasad. I'm also one of the APDs. And I just want to say also, Dallas is a really fun city. There are so many things to do, so many art museums and cultural things to do. I think I trialed many different gyms and lots of parking. And I think if you come here, you're going to find your niche.
Thank you so much to our wonderful UT Southwestern team. This officially concludes the program overview portion of our evening. We will now officially be opening up the floor to questions for a live Q&A session. If anyone prefers to remain anonymous, please feel free to send me or Sheena a message and we will address your questions to our amazing representatives. Okay, I'd like to start us off with a question that I received in the chat. What types of interdisciplinary activities are offered with your residency program curriculum? Are there any opportunities to rotate with pharmacy, learn certain nursing skills, or participate in social work rounds?
I can start. This is Monique from the University of Oklahoma. We actually, over the last couple of years, we've had for a very long time rotations with physical therapy, occupational therapy and speech, respiratory therapy, lactation. We haven't done social work, but social work rounds with our teams. And so we work very closely with our social workers, but that I'm sure they'd be happy to have a resident come and work with them on their team. We haven't done that yet. Last year, we developed actually a nursing rotation, which we found was a great way to help our residents sort of gain competency in bladder catheterization and IV starts and venipuncture, as well as just understand sort of how the daily flow of nursing is. It allowed them to work a little bit more efficiently on the inpatient services. So as I said before, we're pretty open to new electives. It sounds like actually most of us on the call are pretty open to new electives. So if you dream it, you could probably do it. But those are some of the things that already exist for us. And I will say with X+Y, it allows you to do a myriad combination of things. So you can do something for a week. You can do something during your Y week for a half a day over the course of 6 months. So some of our residents who'd like to gain competency in circumcision do a circumcision half day over the course of every 4 weeks over the course of 6 months. And they can get there 20 or 25 or 30 with just that commitment of time. So it doesn't necessarily take up a whole elective, but it's a nice way to sort of arrange that work.
We've had at UT Southwestern this ongoing experiment about appointing adjunct faculty to the department. And the list of opportunities that you listed in affiliated disciplines that are clearly adjacent or closer to pediatrics, I think we've appointed adjunct faculty to the department in all those areas. And then they've been responsible for building out curriculum and experiences. And so they've really got ownership with it. I actually thought I was going to get in trouble because on the side, I was like issuing faculty appointments. And then the university a few years later said, what are you guys doing over in pediatrics? And then they said, oh, we really like this. They expanded it to the other parts of the college, the other parts of the university. So, I mean, like we have a lawyer on faculty and we found that these sorts of things really help us. And then Radha may be on still. I've noticed over the years, things like our orientation have included the affiliated professions that you listed more and more, and it's been just better and better each year, I think.
I think we invented it in peds, but I would agree with you. I think it is something that other disciplines are looking at, and that multidisciplinary care, I think, is the way of the future. It's what's best for patients, and I think, yeah, I agree with what you said. I think we do it. Probably all of our programs do it pretty well.
One kind of new thing we've been doing this past year at Dell is we've really been trying to expand our multidisciplinary education, not only inpatient, but outpatient. And so a lot of our residents now are spending time during their development block with outpatient PT, OT, going to people's houses, meeting them really where they are in our community, while also getting experience going to ABA therapy and really kind of getting to walk in the shoes of our patients' families to kind of see what they're going through, as an expanded approach to what we had already been doing, like similar other programs inpatient, where our resident shadow nursing, respiratory therapists to gain perspective, but kind of extending that reach to not just in the four walls of our hospital, but to our community.
Sweet. Thank you so much,
Oh.
everybody, for asking, for answering. Sorry, Faria, you were saying something? Yeah, sorry. Okay, the next question is, this is for everybody. What qualities do you think are the most important in a candidate to excel in your residency programs?
I can start. So this is Melissa again with UT Houston. So I think for our program, we want candidates who are very much interested in being trained in a very highly complex and a highly acute training ground. As Taylor has mentioned before, we are affiliated with three different hospitals, MD Anderson being one of them, where they learn a lot about oncology stuff. And then Children's Memorial Hermann Hospital, which is our main hospital. Our current, I'm a pediatric hospitalist, and what I can say is that our pediatric hospitalist team are the primary team for most of the patients that are getting admitted into the hospital, except for the primary surgery patients. And so you learn a lot of different types of pathologies in one rotation right itself. We also have so many clinic sites, as well as so many different types of rotations that our residents can engage in. For example, in our developmental and behavioral, we make sure that they are getting a very good training in terms of really seeing, what it means to be in that rotation. So they go to different kinds of schools to learn a little bit more about this, about special needs children, as well as getting involved as well in our clinics to provide care for these children as well. And even an advocacy rotation, they also come to houses with families who have special needs kids and learn about what they go through and really have a good understanding. So we provide a good variety of experiences for our residents. We want them to leave our program and have a really good understanding and a competent physician as well.
I, having been asked this almost every year in interviews, have come up with a phrase. It's called having a humble fire. And so it's having the humility to ask about things that you don't know. We have so many great faculty that are willing and able to teach, but sometimes they don't know what to teach. So having that humility to start the conversation, I think is one of the things that really leads people to excel in our program. And then the fire part of it is just having a passion to pursue your interests. Coming into the program with an idea of this is what I want to do, whether that's advocacy, global health, a subspecialty, primary care, whatever it is, having that fire, because residency at any of these programs, or really any program, regardless of size, is a very intense time in your life. And so if you don't have kind of that burning passion to do something, it's going to fall by the wayside. So I think those are that's how I summarize the qualities that really lead to residents that excel in our training environment.
I like that. I like that moniker, that line, humble fire. I will say, I always sort of tell applicants, this is one of my favorite questions, actually. I always sort of tell applicants that our program, as I'm sure many of the other folks on the call is a high volume, high acuity program. And we really encourage, push, cajole, all the things, our residents to do some real, true, and honest self-assessment, and then pursue sort of experiences that will further their own skills. So we really need people to be able to sort of accept feedback and hear feedback, but also be able to sort of understand the things that they are already good at and the things that they are still working on, because we all have things that we're already good at and things that we're still working on. It's just a fact of life. I always joke, and my kids make fun of me because they're teenagers, that life is a continuous quality improvement project. And we're always sort of waking up the next day trying to do a little bit better. But I think for us, we really push our residents to sort of understand their strengths and their opportunities, and to really do deliberate practice and focus on their opportunities. And so someone who will succeed in our program sort of has that ability to honestly self-assess and then pursue training in things that they need more training in.
This may be sort of a non-answer to the question. I'll start with this, and then actually I'll sort of hand it off to Andy, because he's designed our entire holistic review system. But we aren't just looking for one phenotype. In fact, one of the nice things about being probably in all the programs that are here today is they have enough size and diversity that it's really nice to have people who bring different things to the team. And I've seen it play out where if you take, 3 random residents and say they are on this team tonight, how are they going to solve problems? You don't want 3 people solving it the same way. And we've actually really tried to lean into that. I've done sort of rough Monte Carlo simulations of our rank list and tried to guess before we get our results. Okay, how many people are we going to have who were teachers, or were in the Peace Corps, or did this or did that? We actually hope that we get a very mixed group, because we think it makes for better teams. And then Andy, who I'll hand this off to, he's been really thoughtful of thinking about how you actually do that and the sorts of things you look for.
I think holistic review, again, pediatrics, we're one of the leading specialties, I think, in thinking about this. And we, I think, across the specialty have come to realize that, people are more than a test score. People are more than a honors. I mean, those things are important, of course. And at the same time, lived experiences, different attributes that our residents bring based on who they are count as well, too. I agree that having a mix makes things more interesting, makes things more fun, makes things more inspiring for your peers, for your colleagues. I think one of the things that I'll add as something that we think is really important for success in our program is people who, will work together well on teams, will have each other's back, will not be here to one up each other or show each other up, but to really support each other. I think that's one of the things that stands out in our program, is that it's a really collegial group, a group that will pull together and support each other. And so that's another thing that I think is very important, and I think is probably recognized across all the programs here.
Thank you so much for the wonderful responses. Another question that we received in the chat: how does your program approach applications with red flags, and what advice do you have to applicants navigating the application cycle with an academic red flag?
I guess I can talk about how we do it in Oklahoma. I think, it's pretty hard to hide red flags fully. And we always recommend folks to really be upfront, address it. I think it doesn't, you don't have to be perfect throughout your career to be a successful physician. In fact, I think very few of us are. And I think talking about it somewhere in your application, either in your personal statement or somewhere else, is probably the best way to deal with it, and show, I think we don't, we look at more at how you dealt with the red flag, maybe how you grew from it, and how you can show that you've developed further. And so I would encourage people to discuss it in their application, if whether it's a failed step score or remediation on a rotation. I think it's much better to talk about it up front, because it's most of us look at the applications closely enough that it's fairly obvious when something like that has happened.
Hi, this is Melissa again. So I agree with what has been said so far. I think it's very important to be upfront and honest about it. And for the most part, we understand that it might be a really good reason behind it as well. And we want to know how much you matured and what did you learn from that challenging experience. And so for our interviews, we do a holistic review as well. So only the program leaders have access to the entire file. The rest don't have that access.
Yeah, I think I would just reiterate what everyone has said, is that I almost don't like the word red flag, because I think it just has such a negative connotation. So everybody's lived experience has helped you get to this point, and something that you consider now as a red flag might actually be a defining experience that you can look back on 10 years from now and point to, that's where I got the strength to be able to overcome something that has happened now. So when Monique was talking about, being a continuous QI project, that's how you should look at your academic career so far. No one is expecting you to be perfect. I would definitely agree that you should be addressing it. I think as someone reading through these applications, if you don't talk about a fail in some fashion or having to remediate or something like that, that leaves me wondering, did you learn anything from it at all? Like what happened? So, the story I make up in my head is probably going to be much worse than whatever the true story is, because I'm pretty imaginative. So just tell what happened, be honest about it. And I think take the approach of, this is what I have learned from it. This is why it has made me a stronger physician, and this is why it will help me excel in your program. So I think spin it into a strength as much as you can.
So welcome everyone to the room 2. My name is Victoria. My pronouns are she and her. I am a 50-year medical student from Brazil, and I will be your moderator this evening. I would also like to introduce our FPR team member working hard behind the scenes tonight, Erin. I would like to invite our program representatives to give a short presentation of their programs for 5 minutes for the first part of the evening, and then we will take questions after all of the presentations. Attendees, you can, however, leave your questions in the chat as we go. We also encourage programs to make use of the chat to answer any questions they can in case we run out of time. To ensure that all programs are adequately presented, each presentation is limited to 5 minutes. So I will share a timer in my screen that will help you to better manage your time. Our first program of the evening is the University of Miami Jackson Memorial Hospital. I would like to invite your representative to unmute and tell us. I will just start the timer, and then you can start.
Thank you so much. I have the pleasure to be the first representative tonight to speak to the residents, the students. My name is Dr. Alba. I am the program director. You guys have put these webinars in the past. We have participated, and this is amazing. So I just want to mention to the crowd a few things that are special to our program. All the programs represented here are amazing. So I'm just going to go to the things that I think are unique to us. There are 3 things that I want to mention. First one, Jackson is the largest safety net hospital in Florida, and certainly one of the largest in the country as well. We are the University of Miami. That means that there is endless opportunities for academic support and research opportunities with us. And we are the referral center in Florida and countries around, meaning the Caribbean, South America, and other states, when it comes to transplant medicine and complex diseases. We are the home of the Miami Transplant Institute. Therefore, our floors are the home for those patients as well. Everything pediatrics transplants goes with us in our floors. The end result of these 3 main factors basically give us the opportunity to take care of population that is in need, either because they are socially or financially in danger, or because they are in need of a high expertise. So those factors, I think, is what makes us unique in our patient approach. It really drives us to know that the patient that you see here in the clinic, in the floors, in the PICU, in the ED, or in the programs that we have out as outreach in the community in the van, they may be the one chance they have to see us and then looking for high quality care, which we are in need and in responsibility to provide to them. Another important factor, of course, is that we are located in the beautiful Miami, and it is very important in our DNA to mirror the community we serve. So as nature of my program, historically, we are very diverse. And in our program, we're very proud to say that diversity also include international medical graduates, just because it's the nature of Miami, and that's what we do, and that's who we represent. It is our mission to make a positive impact in the community. So we have two major ways. One is graduating competent pediatricians. We know we have a structure for academics, exposure to patients, opportunities, school activities, QI projects, research, all of that. And we also are very successful having our residence position in the next step of life, right? So it's either fellowship or private practice. We are very happy to say that our residents go to what is their choice after us. My personal goal as a program director is actually to recruit good people. You know, it's not easy, but I think this is something that is very keen to us. Our hospital, because it's a safety net hospital, is not a standing alone children's hospital like some of the ones that are here. Requires a kind of a mission heart to be present and to help our patients the best. Our patients' needs are large, and it requires that kind of a person who finds joy in helping and going the extra mile for people. I think that somehow, and it's when I say somehow, I mean a lot of careful, holistic review of the applications. We do put together amazing classes. Our present classes are amazing. I have no credit on that because when my residents hit the door, they're already like that. I look for people who would take care of the patients, you know, with kindness, but also look at each other and help each other with kindness to the day. That's who we are, and that's how we do things. I invite you to follow us in Instagram, in our webinar, which is coming, and so you guys can find out who we are. I have Dan, you have like 40 seconds to say something. He's my chief president. I don't know if he wants to say.
Hi, good evening, everyone. What a great speech, Dr. Alba. Thanks for giving the remaining time to myself. Some of the things I wanted to really focus on is, again, our patient population and everything we do for them. We give world-class care, and not only that, we have plenty of mentorship as well as support. So throughout our first years, we develop our mentors. All our faculty are very supportive of us, and as we go through our 3 years, we get a lot of autonomy throughout. So a lot of that graduate autonomy allows us to really have that fulfillment in helping our patient population. I know there's only 8 seconds left, so I'll defer the rest of my time, and thank you very much for coming.
Sorry. Thank you, Dr. Alba and Dr. Pham. Now we would like to invite our next program, that is Niklaus Children's Hospital. You can start when you are ready.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to be here with you. My name is Beatriz Cunha de Sautu. I'm the program director at Nicholas Children's Hospital. And again, it's a pleasure to be able to speak to you all tonight about our program and our hospital. So we are the pediatric residency program at Nicholas Children's Hospital based out of beautiful Miami, Florida as well. We are a freestanding specialty children's hospital, the only one in South Florida. As you can see, we're a large institution, over 300 beds, level 1 trauma center and level 4 NICU. High volume institution. We see over 15,000 admissions per year, and we have over 40 pediatric subspecialties represented in our faculty. Given where we are geographically, our patient population is extremely diverse. They really come to us not just from the Southeast US, but also the Caribbean, Central and South America, the Middle East. So our reach is not just local, but really global in nature. And we too are also very proud of the fact that our residency program and faculty are also very diverse. And I think that's important because, as Dr. Alba just mentioned, given that Miami is such a multicultural urban setting, we want to make sure we parallel that diversity that we see in our patient population. We also have an underserved patient population. Up to 70% of our patient population is in that Medicaid payer mix or uninsured payer mix. And here at Nicholas Children's, you really do get a broad spectrum of exposure, from bread and butter primary care general pediatrics to all of the different complex subspecialty care, outpatient to inpatient, and complex ICUs. So you will get an opportunity to experience the whole spectrum of pediatrics here. We do have the largest program in the state. We have 84 residents, 28 per year. And we have several pediatric fellowship programs. They're listed there in our infographic in our institution as well. Definitely, I think that the most important aspect of our program are the people, really the nature of the family environment that we have, not just in our institution, but in our program. All of our faculty are very accessible, very approachable, a lot of camaraderie and collaboration amongst the classes in our residency program, residents and fellows. So it's really a very supportive educational environment that we have in our hospital. Our curriculum gives you the opportunity to really individualize your experience. We have different tracks and over 50 electives to choose from. You have individualized curriculum as well as multiple subspecialty rotations as listed there. So you can really make the curriculum what you want it to be based on what your career paths are. Historically, our residents have gone into all aspects of pediatrics, fellowships matching in great institutions across the country, as well as primary care. And so really there's something for everyone, regardless of what your career interests are here in our hospital. I mentioned there some of our diversity initiatives, and our goal, as I mentioned, is not just to recruit a diverse residency program, but also to retain them. We really take a lot of pride in making sure that our residents are successful and have everything they need to be successful pediatricians leaving us. And we're also very proud that many of them stay with us. And so it's always great to see alumni staying in their home institution or going off into fellowship and coming back. I think that speaks very highly of their residency home. Lots of initiatives that we also have in place to promote resident wellness, including a lot of institutional resources and institutional wellness psychologists, mental health services. We have a resident-run wellness committee that also plans monthly activities, educational stipends and meal stipends and all of those good things. We have a wellness room in our lounge. So lots of opportunities really to lean on each other, support each other, both from a program and an institutional basis. And I can't say much more than so many positive things about Miami. A great place to live, lots of things going on, culturally, sports-wise, amazing weather all year round. So you have plenty of things to do when you're not at work in the hospital. And so I am been in the hospital now for 21 years. I've been program director this is my 17th year. It's really been my professional home for almost all my career. And so it's a wonderful place to train, and we'd be happy to see you all in interview season. Thank you again for the time.
Thank you, Dr. Salto. Now we would like to invite our next program, that is Johns Hopkins University. Feel free to start when you are ready.
Great. Thank you, everyone. I'm Nicole Shulkovsky. I'm the program director at Johns Hopkins. And with me tonight, we have two of our chief residents as well, Yasmin and Liz. So we're all happy to field any questions that you have. So wanted to start off by highlighting a few things about our program. We're actually the oldest pediatric residency training program in the country, but moved into our current space in the Charlotte Bloomberg Children's Center back in 2012 as a freestanding tower that is connected to other parts of the Hopkins Hospital. We have over 200 inpatient rooms, 45 rooms in the NICU, 40 beds in the PICU, across 12 stories within the Children's Center tower. Most of our residents, when they match with us, they can opt to have their continuity clinic in a few different locations. About 80% of residents will do their primary care clinic in the Harriet Lane Clinic, which is just across the street from the main children's hospital. And for anyone who's interested in working with other patient populations, we do have another clinic over at Johns Hopkins Bayview. And I know the chief residents who are on tonight, both of them had their clinics located there, and one worked there for a gap year prior to her chief year, so they can field any questions about that. But it's in a part of Baltimore called Highlandtown that serves a predominantly Latinx population. So any of our Spanish-speaking residents or people who want to practice their Spanish tend to opt to have their continuity clinic there and serve the Latinx population within Baltimore. We have lots of really interesting elective opportunities, including rotations through the public health service at Indian Health Service clinics in both New Mexico and Arizona. And many of our residents will opt to do that as a full month elective, usually in year 2 or 3 in the program. And we also have a lot of global health opportunities as well, currently in over 9 countries as very well organized bidirectional academic partnerships that we have with global health overseas partners. Every resident, of course, gets to participate in a quality improvement project, and we have dedicated QI weeks as part of our program curriculum. And many of the residents go on to present their quality improvement projects as scholarly presentations at both regional and national pediatric meetings. Lots of wellness-based activities, a lot of program traditions to welcome new interns. We have a crab feast every year as part of intern orientation, annual trips to the top of the dome, lots of ways to get to know your class personally and professionally, opportunities for annual class retreats that are really just for you and your families and partners to attend, really emphasizing life-work balance and the importance of well-being during residency. Each class, as I mentioned, has the retreat, and we always, with any of our events throughout the year, we have coverage so that everyone can attend. We do accept all types of visas, and we do have several international medical graduates currently in our program. Our curriculum is structured to be able to integrate simulation, and as I mentioned, a lot of elective time even within the first year for early career exploration. We have specific resuscitation skills training days and mock codes integrated within the curriculum. Wanted to just briefly highlight some of our diversity initiatives. We do have an elective for 4th-year medical students focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion. And our Pediatric Diversity Council is quite active, both within the Department of Pediatrics and also more broadly institutionally. We do have both a health equity health equity track as well as a global health track. We accept 2 residents into each of those tracks per year, and then also have some specific mentorship opportunities within the program for people interested in research in those fields. And then if you've never been to Baltimore, it's a great place to live, really a wonderful location on the East Coast, close to DC and New York, and all of the great things that the Eastern Shore provides, such as access to the beaches and the mountains, and really great sports teams. It's a wonderful place to live. And I am actually an alumni of the program. I've been in Baltimore for 24 years and really proud to call it home, and proud to have trained at Hopkins both for residency and fellowship. So always happy to take any questions that you have, and welcome you to visit our social media sites and our website to learn more.
Thank you, Dr. Shulkovsky. Our next program will be the Children's National Pediatric Residency Program. So when you are ready.
Sure. Thank you so much. My name is Sam Zhao. I am not Aisha Barber, who is our wonderful program director, but I am the assistant program director for entrance selection. Thank you all for joining us on Zoom today. Coincidentally, my dog is having zoomies in the background, so if you hear some growling, everything is okay over here. I'm really excited to be here and tell you a little bit about our program. We have a lot in common with all the places you've heard from already. We are a large standalone children's hospital, and of course, we have a lot of different types of diversity initiatives, program tracks, and wellness initiatives. So I won't repeat a lot of what you've heard already. I just want to say a few things that I think really make our program stand out. I think a few interesting things about us. Well, first of all, we are located in Washington, D.C., which, as you know, is the nation's capital, which makes it a very exciting and fun place to live, play, and work. We are, by location, very attached to a lot of advocacy projects. And I think a lot of our faculty here are interested in legislative advocacy and other endeavors along that realm. So if that's something you're interested in, I think it's a great place to come and explore that interest. Not that everyone is going to leave here ready to be a politician, but certainly if you are interested in pursuing research and projects in that area, we would be happy to support you in that. One other interesting thing about us, so we are the home institution, the pediatrics department for the George Washington University, which is a predominantly white institution. We're also the inpatient pediatrics rotation for Howard University, a historically Black college university. And so I think we straddle that very nicely in the sense that we are really serving all the different populations of DC in the best way that we can. And I think that all our trainees benefit a lot from the types of exposures they get, both in the clinic and in the inpatient area, as well as learning how to teach different learners of different levels. And so I certainly love having medical students from many schools rotate with us, as well as our residents and fellows. And speaking of fellows, I myself was a fellow here in pediatric emergency medicine. So while I didn't do my residency here, I do have a good sense of the training that we provide. And I have to say, I've enjoyed it from both ends. I've enjoyed learning from the faculty, and I certainly love being one of the faculty who gets to teach our amazing residents here. A lot of the times people will ask me, well, what are you guys looking for in a resident? I, of course, want someone who is going to come here and want to learn and be a good pediatric resident in the sense that you're curious about what's going on with our patients and how to best take care of them. I think the phrase that I have decided to use is something called Pediatrician Plus, which is that we want everyone to come here not just to be a good pediatrician, which I'm certain that almost all of the programs that you will come across is going to turn out an excellent pediatrician. That is everyone's goal. We want you to have something extra for when you finish. And maybe you're a pediatric leader, or maybe you're a pediatric advocate, as I mentioned, or maybe you're a pediatric researcher, or maybe like me, you're a pediatric educator. And we want to know what that special thing is for you. You don't have to know now, but I want you to have had some exploration in that, and we're really going to help facilitate that growth. And how we facilitate that growth is through something called the REACH program, which allows you to have an academic half day throughout your residency that you apply for at the end of your first year. And that half day lets you work with a mentor on a specific project, which could be, as I've talked about, an advocacy project. It could be developing a curriculum. It could be what people classically consider research. And so something to help you figure out what else it is you want to do with your career aside from taking care of patients, which of course, again, everyone here wants you to be very good at taking care of. The other thing that I'm really proud of is our work in the diversity area, and our assistant program director for diversity, equity, inclusion, Dr. Shantana Numado, is here as well. She's waving, and we have done a lot of work in this area, and Dr. Barber really is a leader in this field. And so you can see all the different things we have listed under there. One thing that I am particularly proud of is our ADAP program, which is an opportunity for fourth-year medical students to come rotate with us. They'll research if they want to as well. And that is subsidized, and it's an opportunity for students from UIM backgrounds to come and experience what it's like to work at Children's National and, of course, live in DC and know what that's all about. The other thing that we're really passionate about, as you've heard from many people already, is resident wellness. One thing that is unique to Children's National, we have an opt-out mental health program, meaning that at any point you can opt out, but we are going to have one of our psychologists check in with you, have appointments with you, because we know that residency is a very stressful time and you're going to go through a lot of difficult learning opportunities. We want to make sure that you're doing that in a healthy, well-rounded way. When I asked my residents how to describe their experience at Children's National, they told me me that the word they use is balance. And so to me, that both means balance inside and outside of the workplace, but also balance within the workplace. And so I hope you take a look at us, get a chance to know a little bit more about how we promote balance, and I welcome any questions you might have. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Zhao. Now we would like to invite our last program to join us. That is the Nemers from Delaware. I can't listen. I don't know if... So maybe let's start the question and answer, and if they arrive later, we can come back to this part. I see a few questions in the chat that have been already answered. Let me see. Q&A. So let's start with this one. What types of interdisciplinary activities are offered in your residency curriculum?
I'm sorry, Victor, could you repeat that question again? I apologize.
Sure. What types of interdisciplinary activities are offered in your residency curriculum?
I don't find my raising my hand, so I'm sorry. I can answer. So we also have a very comprehensive simulation curriculum in UM program. And so one of the activities that we do actually monthly now, and it's actually going to be extended to the floor, it is right now is contained to the hem-onc rotation, a simulation with the nurses, with the BMT and hem-onc nurses. And this year, the chief residence, Dan, is actually already trained for simulation and to be a simulation instructor, and we're taking that to the floors. It is based on communication and transfer of information in emergency setting. So I think that that's one of the programs that we're proud of, and we also do it in the PICU and in the NICU, and those are all multidisciplinary trainings.
I would say at Johns Hopkins, we do similarly a lot of interprofessional training. Our family-centered rounds are conducted interdisciplinarily. So we always have representation from nursing on rounds, as well as often from nutrition and social work and our pharmacy teams. So we very much utilize that as a way to promote a lot of interdisciplinary communication. And for our incoming interns, we always have a session with our nurses that's led by our chief residents and our lead nursing educators. And it's just a great way to learn a little bit about the nurse's role in patient care and get to know some of the nurses before the interns have to work with them clinically. So that's like a 2-hour workshop that we do with nursing representation.
Similarly, at Nicholas Children's, we do very much the same. We also have monthly mock codes that are intraprofessional with simulation experiences. We also have family-centered rounds, and we also do interprofessional quality improvement projects and patient safety projects. So those are also incorporated in the residency curriculum. So lots of opportunities to really interact with all the members of the clinical team.
Hi, this is Sam. I'm going to ditto everything that everyone has said. It sounds like we've all got pretty robust curricula in terms of simulation and interdisciplinary care. I will say our residents also take interdisciplinary care into their own hands. I know last year they had a joint happy hour with our floor nurses because they wanted to get to know people outside of work, thinking that would also help them take care of patients better together. So something else that our residents are sort of taking on to themselves.
There is another question about parent electives, if there are any.
I can take that one too. So yes, we actually have a parenting elective. I was just writing in the chat. We started over a year ago. We also have a lot of innovation coming from our residents. So this was a couple of residents that basically left as a heritage from them. It's working really well. It's a way actually to, the way I see it is a way to help the new parent, either female or male, to integrate back into the rhythm of the program. It has its own curriculum. It has its own director, has a lot of reflection into the care of the newborn, relationship with the system, breastfeeding is the feedback that we have is very nice. I have to say that, you know, in the larger scheme of things, maybe I don't know, maybe by now, maybe 8 to 10 people has taken it and the feedback has been very positive.
Yeah, I think I just put on the chat as well. We also have a parenting elective at Nicholas Children's. It's also relatively new. I think we're in our second year. And very similarly, we've incorporated a lot of newborn experience, anticipatory guidance, breastfeeding curriculum, things like that. And it's also grown in popularity as well, not just for residents that are new parents, but just really, especially those that are interested in primary care and general pediatrics, so that they have a better sense of what new parents go through in those first critical weeks. So we've also gotten great feedback from the residents on that.
There is another question for the programs that are in large cities, that if security and safety have been concerned for your residents.
Hi, everybody. I'm Shantae Anudo from Children's. I was actually going to type a response, us being in Washington, D.C., which is a typical big city. I think with any, city, you just have to have general safety precautions, but I have not heard any of our residents having specific safety concerns about traveling to and from work. We do have an on-site shuttle for residents who are coming from the metro and wanting to get on and off to campus if it's after hours, which I know our residents do utilize. And that goes to from our main campus to the majority of our offsite locations and parking lots. So I wouldn't say any extra safety precautions, just the typical safety precautions of living in any big city. But in general, I think our residents feel safe and able to go to and from their sites.
Yeah, I would echo that. At Johns Hopkins, we are in a large city, similar to DC and Baltimore, and we have a very large on-campus security presence, so that if residents in particular are ending shifts late in the evening or at odd hours, they can always be escorted to where their car is located. And we similarly have a shuttle that connects our main campus to our sister campus, Johns Hopkins Bayview, and also to a lot of the neighboring sites around the community for clinics and such. And we have never had any security issues in my time as program director in the last 7 years that have impacted our residents. So many of them live very close to the hospital and can even walk or bike to work. And it's, again, the security presence in and around the campus is quite helpful if people have any concerns about needing an escort to their vehicle.
Another question is, what kind of research do residents engage in?
I'll begin. At Children's National, really any type you can imagine. I think the benefit of having a large institution like the ones we have here tonight is that we have large faculty. And when you have a large faculty, that means there are going to be a lot of diverse interests. So the big programs that you go to, if you can think of something you want to research, we can probably support that kind of research. I would just give you an example. I mentioned the REACH program earlier, and as a specific item, so I had two residents come to me who said, hey, Sam, you're an ER doc, and in the ED, we've been taking care of a lot of patients with unintentional ingestions, kids who are coming in altered and they need to be hospitalized. And we're wondering, who do we report to CPS and who do we not? And is there a racial bias? Is there a socioeconomic bias? Is there a primary language bias to who we report? And so they took that on. That's great for me because it's entirely resident driven, right? It's a question that they had that came up clinically, was very natural, and they wanted to research, and we supported them in that. So we have opportunities. We have certainly many existing projects you can jump onto. We really value the questions that you come up with on your own, and happy to provide you with a mentor to help you answer those questions when you're here.
I was going to add for University of Miami the same. University of Miami and Jackson are large institutions. They are both have the mission of research. We do support in the program, or specifically I supported in the program, any type of question that can be answered in a systematic manner. It could be related to wellness, impact of music therapy, you name it, we have it, and we will support it because it's important. When I mentioned our intention is to have positive impact in the community. We are a community, faculty is a community, residents are a community, our nurses, and it goes to the patient. So we're very keen. We have a very large CIR, which is a representation of the interns and residents in Jackson. Our GME is about 1,000 trainees, so it's huge. So the possibilities are endless. The mentors are, from every walks of life. So we are interested and support them. We actually also have the research pathway, which is more focused towards identifying the person who wants to be a physician scientist. But we also have mentors that could actually mentor any project at any stage in the residency, because sometimes people kind of wake up to research in the second year and they feel that they're late. No, you're not late. We're here to help you become, what you really want to be.
I think that's also, I echo what a lot of my colleagues have said. The same is true for opportunities for research at Johns Hopkins. We do have dedicated research electives that if people do want to dedicate time toward their research pursuits, either for fellowship applications or just to be able to really immerse themselves in a particular research field, you can dedicate some of your elective time toward that pursuit. I would say the scholarship opportunities really range from bench and translational research to clinical research to quality improvement and patient safety-based research. And we have a lot of people very interested in medical education science as well, and the science of outcomes related to curriculum development. So many opportunities. We have some small grant opportunities from the institution. And then many of our residents have been fortunate to receive catch grants from the American Academy of Pediatrics to go toward some of the types of projects that Dr. Alba was just speaking toward about community-based projects as well. So and I see her shaking her head, so I'm sure that that's also popular within her program. So lots of opportunities to also have financial support for research endeavors within the program.
So we are approaching the end of our program overview portion of the evening, and we have time for one more question. Some questions about observerships, opportunities for IMGs.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's the specific question. I mean, like, I already had put in my statement that, of course, you know, the diversity in Miami includes international patients. So we do include that into our diversity. They were asking if, you know, there's a specific way we support IMGs. It really is ingrained into the program. The IMG acclimation into the program starts when they match. Everybody from different countries have different ways to get their visas and the paperwork. So it is comprehensive. We do have the expertise. So I just want to have the space for other programs also to speak in, you know, in those regards.
Similarly, I mean, given that we're in the same city as Dr. Alba, a very, very diverse patient population, our program is also very diverse. We have IMGs also in all of our classes, and we also match our newly matched residents with a big SIB, if you will. And that gives you great opportunities if you're an IMG to connect with one of the IMGs in our program and allow for assistance in making that transition to our program, to the city. So everything that we can do to help, even the visa process, all of that, we make ourselves available with all of our resources. So I think it's something that we've really embraced for many, many years. It's part of who we are as a program, especially in Miami.
Thank you very much for answering our questions. Now we will just reshare the Nemours Delaware infographic if anyone wants to take a screenshot and read better later. Hopefully everyone got the chance to learn a bit more about what our Southern programs have to offer. We want to repeat how grateful we are to all the programs directors, coordinators, and other representatives who took their time to join us tonight. And now we would like to invite you all to come back to go back to the main room so we can finish our night.
Our first program of the evening is University of Alabama. I would like to invite your representative to unmute and tell us all about your program.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having us tonight. My name is David Taylor. I'm one of the pediatric co-chief residents. I'm joined tonight by Dr. Michelle Nichols, who is our senior program director. And we're going to be talking a little bit about what makes our program so wonderful. Going to start just with a couple of the program highlights that we really want y'all to know about. That includes our scholars programs. We don't have tracks here at UAB. We do scholars programs, which means you can join as many as you want to, as you have the bandwidth for. And so if you're interested in medical education and global health, you can do multiple of them. They each have requirements and they're kind of spread out over the course of your residency, but it's a great opportunity for you to be able to plug in different ways. We are the only freestanding children's hospital in the state, and so we have a huge catchment area, including from all surrounding states and from essentially every state in the country. We'll get transplants in different patients from all over to come here. One of the big things we're very excited about is an expansion coming to our hospital. So we currently have 380 beds, but that is going to be increasing very soon to almost 400. And we also have a wonderful ICU step down where residents are able to take care of, even as interns, things like DKA requiring insulin drips, things like high flow nasal cannula up to 2 liters per kilo, and tons of other things that you may not get until you're in the ICU in your training that you're able to care for even as an intern here with great supervision, but that allows you to develop those skills early. And then finally, one of the big things we want to highlight is that all of our clinical rotations are located on the same campus, including your continuity clinic. So you're never driving back and forth between different locations. You're always going to be here. It's walkable and there's covered parking so that you never have to worry about getting from an inpatient setting to a clinic that might be far away. One of the big things we do want to emphasize is that with our diversity initiatives, we do have an inclusion, diversity, equity, accessibility, and an advocacy council that is led by residents, but also has faculty representatives that truly encompasses everything we do here as a program. Diversity is not just what we do, it's who we are and who we strive to be, mimicking the population of Birmingham and Alabama, wanting to care better for those patients, recognizing that inequity is still prevalent in our system, and doing everything we can to advocate for children who can't advocate for themselves to make that better. And I'll turn it over to Dr. Nichols to talk about some other things.
Yes, such an honor to be with you here tonight and with many of our friends who are also on this Zoom from other programs. I would like to share with you some of our educational opportunities and things that our residents love best. Probably the one main thing that people love is Daily Morning Report. And it's really one of our best educational platforms. It's resident run and it's case-based. We also have noon conference every day, and this is as opposed to an academic half day. Our residents love to see each other every day, eat together, but also learn together. And so it's a protected break in the day with very high quality didactics. We also have career development workshops 6 times a year, and it focuses either on Gen Peds or socially. We have a weekly board review as well. The residents tell us this is a great place to start their study plan. Our best educational venue, I think our residents would tell you, is our simulation center. State of the art. It's been around for about 15 years. In almost every rotation, you will have case-based simulations in our center. The residents also learn their procedural skills here, starting out when they're during intern orientation, as well as on retreats. And then
a diverse house staff and faculty. Wellness, as we all know, is hugely important, and our goal is that you're well both inside and outside of the hospital. You do have free access to our employee assistance program. We have wellness conferences throughout the year. We also have pre-scheduled wellness days so that you know in advance sometimes where you have personal days, even at the beginning of the year, so you can schedule appointments. Of course, we make it a priority for you to be able to get to any personal appointments that you need to make it to. We have a large resident. I was a little jealous of Michelle because she got to talk about our lounge, so I'm going to talk about ours too. We have sounds like a similar setup where you have large, beautiful windows with a good view, some exercise equipment, and just a nice space to be together when you're in the hospital. We have free parking, and we have meal money, and lunch is provided for all of our noon conferences. And then there's great new parent support. I won't go into the details of that, but we have a new parent elective, protected leave, and a PGY parent handbook. And fun traditions like resident day out, each class gets a day out together. And then we have an annual Halloween costume contest that is judged by our department chair. Morning retort, which is kind of a good-natured ribbing of the faculty. And then Heller Bowl and Hat Day are some long-standing traditions.
Sorry to interrupt, but
no, you're good.
That is time, but thank you so much for sharing all the amazing things about Vanderbilt. We will go ahead and move on to our next program, and I would invite the representatives of University of Tennessee to come on up and tell us all the great things about your program.
Hi, thank you so much. I am Dr. Emily Dobish, and I'm one of the Associate Program Directors here at UTHSC in Memphis, Tennessee, and I'm really excited to tell you all about our program. We have a couple other people on the call with us. We have Dr. Bindia Baga. She is our Fearless Program Director. She and myself, neither of us are I've been here for 13 years, including residency and chief residency, and I'm proud to call Memphis home. And Dr. Baga came to Memphis for her ID training, fell in love with the city, and has called it home for many years herself. We also have our rising chief residents that are really excited to chat with everybody later on in the live Q&A session. So a little about our program. We take 23 categorical pediatric residents a year. We have a really robust med-peds program as well as a child neurology residency program. Our primary training site is Le Bonheur Children's Hospital. It is a beautiful children's hospital. It serves as serves as the only comprehensive freestanding pediatric hospital in our region of West Tennessee. We are at 276 beds currently and have just expanded our cardiology CVICU as well as our NICU. We are a level 1 pediatric trauma center. We are a level 4 NICU, and we have all fellowships and specialties represented at Le Bonheur. Speaking of fellowships, we have a 100% match rate. Our residents are matching into their top choices, which is often here at our institution, but they are also going throughout the country for their fellowship training. We have a really wide catchment area. We serve a 200-mile radius around the city, and we capture a lot of the surrounding states. It gives us a very diverse patient population with both children coming from urban and rural settings, and we do qualify as an underserved population. You see a wide variety of pathology here, really rare disorders, stuff that I personally thought I would only read about in medical school, but have taken care of while I've been here in Memphis. We are also affiliated with St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, which I know you all are probably very familiar with. It is world renowned for their care of pediatric cancer and hematologic disorders. Our residents are really lucky. They get to spend at least 2 months there for their hemonc training. They can do more rotations there if they want to, and they're also able to participate in research with our St. Jude faculty. We are about to transition to an X+Y schedule. We're really excited about it for our next academic year. Our program does not currently have any 24-hour calls in the schedule, and they will not have any 24-hour calls in the X+Y schedule. We are really committed to wellness. That is one of our program director, Dr. Baga's passions. And so we have a lot of wellness initiatives. We have a resident-led wellness committee that does social events throughout the year, so you get to know your peers outside of work. Program director and chief-led wellness morning reports for resiliency building, ICU rotation debriefs, wellness half days on your outpatient and NICU rotations, and then too many social events, ice cream rounds, dress-up days, parties for me to list in these 5 minutes. We also have a lot of advocacy opportunities here in Memphis. Dr. Yan, one of our associate program directors, is the immediate past president of Tennessee AAP. He's very active in the legislative advocacy world. And then I am the medical director of our medical legal partnership, Memphis Child, where residents are able to spend time with myself and the lawyers working in this medical legal partnership to advocate for our patients. We really pride ourselves on our commitment to diversity. We have a JEDI committee that is leading educational initiatives, including health equity rounds during noon conferences and academic half days, as well as community outreach initiatives that residents play a lot of active roles in. And it also provides a lot of opportunity for fellowship and mentorship. And then I have to mention the city of Memphis. I love the city of Memphis. All of us do. Many of the faculty here came for residency. They were not from Memphis, or they perhaps came for fellowship, fell in love with the city. Memphis kind of becomes a part of your soul, and we now call it home, and we are happy to call it home. We have one of the best food scenes in the country. We feel like we have a lot of sports teams, our favorite being John Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies, excellent live music, a really low cost of living for a city metropolitan area of 1 million. So we're a really large city, but we feel like a small town with a low cost of living, and it's about 15 to 20 minutes to get anywhere. And so I think that's all I have. If I have a little bit of time, I know Dr. Baga would love to say hi. Be sure to watch our Instagram page for more information about our program, the city of Memphis, some upcoming open houses, and ways to interact with us. And thanks.
Right. If there's a few minutes, then I'll just take a minute to first congratulate everybody that you've already achieved a lot, and for picking the best field ever. If I had to do life all over again, I would pick pediatrics again, and I have only completed training in it twice and done a fellowship. So I think congratulations on doing that, and enjoy the entire interview process. Like Dr. Dobish said, we take wellness seriously. It's a huge passion of mine. There's a good music happening. I don't know if that's a mute sign, but or not.
It's the timer.
Okay, that is a great timer. So on that note, I think I'll just end with saying our mantra for our residents is we want them to thrive and not survive residency. And we take wellness very, very seriously. And if you come here, you will make a family here. And the time that you spend in Memphis will be memorable, and you will lay roots here. We'll give you the wings to fly and the home to always call your home base. So on that note, hopefully I'll see some of you guys in the recruitment tail. And it's good to see friends also, by the way. Hi, Whitney, Michelle.
Oh, thank you guys so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Dobish and Dr. Baga. And with that, we're going to introduce the next program. Now, my friends have told me that this is pronounced University of Louisville. So would the representatives please come up and tell us all the great things about your program?
Hey, good evening, everyone. My name is Sarah Molterer, and I'm joined this evening by Emily Allen, who is one of their chief residents. I am the program director at the University of Louisville. You have to say it like you're drinking bourbon. That's how you can do it. And Norton Children's Hospital. So we, like many of the programs here, we have 24 categorical peds residents, 3 child neuro residents per year, and then 5 med peds, which puts us on the small end of large or the large end of medium, depending on who you ask. Our primary clinical site is Norton Children's Hospital, which is the only freestanding children's hospital in the state of Kentucky. We are also a level 1 trauma center with level 4 NICUs and an ECMO center of excellence. We have 12 subspecialty fellowships, and on the outpatient side, we also have a really beautiful Novak Center for Children's Health, which is a multidisciplinary outpatient building where our patients can come and get not just pediatric primary care, but also their subspecialty care in one place. We have 3 other locations for longitudinal clinic, each one with their own flair and their own set of strengths. And we allow residents in their 3rd year to do their longitudinal clinic in a private practice if that is where they see themselves in their long-term career. From a curriculum perspective, we have 4 distinction tracks in medical education, global health, research, and advocacy. And we're in the process of piloting a breastfeeding medicine track as well, if you are interested in becoming a certified lactation consultant during your residency training. We were an early adopter of X+Y scheduling, and one of the highlights of our program is our advocacy program. It's called PUSH. It stands for Pediatricians Urging Safety and Health. It's a completely resident-run, resident-driven advocacy program with 2 overarching arms in both community outreach and then legislative advocacy. So our residents get the opportunity to meet with our state legislators, talk with them about bills as they're making their way through our legislature, advocate for or against, depending on the situation, but also get the opportunity to get out into our community, work with different organizations that are also supporting children, and really get involved in our community in that way. I think our resident wellness activities are really quite similar to many of the other resident activities. We have conferences throughout the year, the favorite being Puppy Day, where we work with the local humane society. They bring in puppies and you just get to snuggle and play with them for a little bit to brighten your day. We also have Switch Day socials where our residents will plan fun events at the end of a block as you're transitioning from one rotation to another. We also have a resident run diversity, sorry, I saw that, Whitney. We also have a resident run diversity, inclusion, equity committee where our residents are also leaders in this way. They serve as mentors for several different undergrad and even high school pipeline programs for folks who are underrepresented in medicine but have an interest in long-term careers in healthcare. From a location perspective, Louisville, Kentucky is a really wonderful place to live. I think would be classified as a medium-sized city. In the Midwesty South, I think we might be the northernmost program in this southern group that is meeting this evening. We are consistently voted one of the foodiest cities in the country. And of course, we're famous for our bourbon and the Kentucky Derby. So we would love to meet you. So if you have an interest, please apply to our program. And thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much, Dr. Moltier, and thanks for the correct pronunciation. With that being said, we would like to go ahead and introduce our next program, the University of North Carolina. And so would someone from the program please come up and tell us all the cool things about your program?
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you for having us, and just listening to all these other programs makes me want to go to all these programs. So it's been a wonderful night so far. My name is Christian Lawrence. I'm one of the associate programs at associate program directors at UNC. Meg Kilstrom is our program director. She's here with me as well. Fun fact: we are both post-calls from several nights. So if you see us nodding off, it is not that we didn't want to be here, it's that our job did not want us to be here. But we're super excited to be here. Really excited to highlight some things about our program. I'm actually going to go off script a little bit. I like to think that we're a medium to large size program, so you get the advantages of having a larger program, but still that smaller feel of having a more mid-sized program. One of the things we love about UNC is really the culture. We affectionately call it a black hole, meaning that when you come here, you get stuck and you never leave. That has been the case for me and Meg, and that has been the case for many of our residents. Actually, about 60 to 70% of our residents, even if they're not from North Carolina, end up coming here, staying in North Carolina, staying and practicing in the area. So we really love the culture that we have here at UNC. And I'd like to think that we're, as a program, really, really focused on the success of our residents and focused on education in particular. So when we think about our curriculum, we're constantly adapting things based on resident feedback. The slide says we have 4-week blocks. We actually have a mix of 2 and 4-week blocks, and that is constantly changing based on resident feedback. This year, we actually implemented a new night float system where you get a nightcation built into your night block. So you do a couple weeks of nights and then you get a whole week off and then you get a week of clinic. And so we've set that up in a cool, fun way, actually getting that idea from our internal medicine program here at UNC. We condense all your backup together, and we have what we call a Jeopardy month, so that you can kind of just have all of your backup more at one time instead of scattered throughout the year. But again, based on feedback, we kind of adapt and tweak that. And a brand new simulation center that we bring people through to go through different scenarios and cases. We just built a brand new medical school. We're actually going to be building a brand new children's hospital, because you can see the bed numbers off to the side. For those who don't know, North Carolina is like the fastest growing state in America, and we have long outgrown our hospital. So we're excited about having a brand new children's hospital. To that end, we are the Children's Hospital of the state of North Carolina. There are several other programs in North Carolina, but we are the state hospital, and we are really mission focused and focused on taking care of children from all across the state. We're very blessed and fortunate to be able to take care of a diverse group of patients from all over the state with all types of needs. We have all of the subspecialties represented, so people come from every corner of North Carolina to come and see us and to seek care. And that's really an honor and a privilege as a native North Carolinian to really be able to take care of the people of North Carolina. In addition to that, we actually have our residents rotate through 2 separate sites outside of the main hospital in Chapel Hill. So you'll do rotations at Wake Med in Raleigh and rotations at Cone Health in Greensboro. And the advantage of that is that you get to see completely different perspectives than what you see in Chapel Hill. Chapel Hill is more of a tertiary quaternary care center, whereas those are more community sites where you get to see more of the bread and butter of pediatrics. You get a lot more autonomy. You're actually out there running codes and doing things in the PICU and doing procedures. Meg actually moonlights in the PICU out at Cone Health as well. So that's really an excellent opportunity for our residents to expand on their educational opportunities. In addition, we have opportunities outside of education. We have opportunities in global health. A lot of people interested in medical education, advocacy. We don't necessarily have specific tracks in all of those areas, but we do have a CHAMP program focused on advocacy. We have a global health program focused on people who want to have additional time for global health. And we have a residence as teachers program. So if you're interested in any of those things, you name it, we have it. And we have a lot of diversity initiatives going on. Granted, there's a lot going on in terms of DEI across the nation, a lot of backlash around DEI, but we're working very hard to make sure that we are continuing to do the work. I actually serve as the vice chair of Health Equity and Access for our department, and we have several initiatives that we're continuing to work on, and we're working our strategic plan to make sure that we're supporting our patients, because like I said, we're a mission-focused hospital. We take care of a diverse group of patients, and we have a diverse faculty, and we want to make sure that we're representing the state of North Carolina in the best possible way. And then lastly, I'll just say it's a great place to live. We're right in the middle of the mountains and the beach. So if you want to go to the beach, it's just 2 hours away. If you want to go to the mountains, it's just a couple hours away. And we have all of the big city amenities in the Triangle area while also having a nice small town feel, while also still being relatively affordable. So very excited to have been here with y'all tonight and excited to answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lawrence, for your words. And now, last but certainly not least, we're going to go ahead and introduce our last program of the night, Eastern Virginia Medical School. Would someone from the school, please come up and tell us all the great things about your program.
Hi, everyone. My name is Andrea Tatum. I am one of the associate program directors for our residency program, as well as one of the assistant program directors for our advocacy track. I also serve as vice chair of DEI for the Department of Pediatrics. So first, I just want to let you all know that we are a program that is really homegrown. Not only am I an associate program director, I was a resident here as well as a chief resident. And there are tons of our former residents who've gone away and come back to serve as faculty members from our program. We are the only freestanding children's hospital in the state of Virginia. As you can see here, we are a level 1 trauma center, and we have tons of opportunities for you to truly explore the things that you want to do. Number one, as my partner in crime who just went ahead of me, Dr. Lawrence said, I'm going off track here. So you can read everything on the board, but I'm going to tell you some things about us. We are a family, and I think that's really important. We are one of the programs that's also medium to large size, but we're close enough that you still feel like you know everyone that's there. We don't have any fellows except for in our emergency room. And I think it's a really good opportunity for you to understand that you can really have that one-on-one experience with your attendees and really be able to say that I have the opportunity to be the first in line to do my procedures. We have a level 4 NICU, we have a PICU, and one of the things that I think is really unique is that we now have a 60-bed inpatient psychiatric center specifically for children. We are a regional referral center for many of the programs in our area. We accept J1, H1B, and F1 visas. We have been a part of the X+Y schedule from the beginning. We were a part of the pilot program. So we build in wellness in everything that we do. We have an advocacy curriculum that we have started that is longitudinal throughout all 3 years. We have a global health track, and we have a primary care track. One of the things that I think is really important is that we have every specialty available that you can think of in our hospital. And we don't have to send many of our patients out. We even do a lot of our transplants at home so you can see what it takes and to be able to follow up. One of the things that people worry about is if you don't have fellows, how do you match in the different fellowships? None of our residents have their problems matching in the fellowships because they know that if they come from our program, they will have that strong clinical experience. We do have our own resident DPI committee, and they have different tracks focused on LGBTQ issues, education, community service, as well as leadership. Our resident wellness committee, as you can see here, does a lot. And I think one of the big things about our program is that we're located in one of the best areas ever. We're surrounded by water. So you have beaches everywhere, and it's beautiful. So I hope you think about our 3 words of our program: inclusive, family, and fun. And it's even more so shown in that a lot of programs say that we have different days for each of our classes. We have a retreat where all of our residents leave the program and go to the beach and stay at a resort and get to know one another and learn educational opportunities, because we are all about family and fun. And how much more can you say family and fun by going away for a weekend at the beach and getting to know one another? So thank you so much for listening to me talk right now, and I'll be here if you have any other questions about our program.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tatum, for telling us all about your program. Well, everyone, that concludes the program overview portion of the evening. We do apologize for the technical issues earlier on, but we thank you for sticking through that with us. But we will now open up the floor for a live Q&A. If anyone prefers to remain anonymous, feel free to send either me or Kirtana a personal message, and we will make sure that we address your question to the program representatives. Okay, and the first question that we have is, what are some of the ways that you help your residents transition from 4th-year medical students to 1st-year residents as far as autonomy, confidence, and knowledge?
Was that addressed to any like specific program, or did they want like all programs to answer?
Yeah, this is for anyone.
Sure. I'm happy to talk about what we do here at UAB. So we do have a PGY1 101 curriculum that we've revamped this year that runs longitudinally from July into November to really work on some of those foundational skills that interns are developing as they start We do try and provide interns as much freedom and autonomy as they can handle, but making sure that they always know they have support. We have in-house attendings, we have in-house fellows who are available for that backup, but if you feel comfortable making that decision, you run it by your upper level and they're going to let you do it and really have that autonomy to kind of develop that freedom as you progress. And that's something that we pride ourselves on, is that our interns develop quickly because we give them freedom, but know that they always have the backup available.
We do a lot of the same thing. I'm UT Memphis, Dr. Baga. So, and we, in addition to that, we also have an intern school that the residents go to, incoming interns go to. They're also assigned intern buddies. So they are paired with an upper level so that they can have that fellowship coming in. And we also have started assigning chief coaches to those who may need that additional help so that we can actually truly give them the tools that they might need to succeed. So those are some of the things we do.
Hey y'all, I'm Meg from UNC Christian's, my better half. One thing I think is probably similar amongst a lot of programs is we really normalize the fact that you will make mistakes and you won't be perfect from the first day, because it's a really different mental approach than during medical school. So allowing people to ask questions and realize they may do things wrong, but there are people there, similar to what others said, to help and to navigate that, I think is kind of a common theme that's amongst all our programs as well.
I'm Emily. I'm one of the chief residents at U of L. One thing that we have that I think is pretty unique is our professional identity exploration elective, or I guess required rotation for interns. It's like a time for them to explore what careers they're interested in, and they get to meet mentors and talk with different people throughout the hospital and kind of explore different ideas for what their future would look like.
All right, we only have time for about one more question. Our APPD representative is here, so we will be leaving the breakout room at 8:50. But I do have a question for to UT Memphis, University of Alabama, and University of Louisville. And is step 2 recommended for osteopathic students?
You mean USMLE step 2?
Yes.
Okay. Our program does not require osteopathic students to take USMLEs. We accept COMLEX scores.
Same for us.
Same for UAB.
All right, thank you so much. And yes, I am working on the pronunciation. I'm trying to get the old part there.
Took me about 5 years. It's okay. And I still say Louisville when I'm not talking with natives.
I said Louisville first, and someone said no, not at all.
You're doing great.
Thank you. Alrighty, so the breakout room will probably end in less than 60 seconds here, but once again, thank you guys so much, and hopefully everyone got the chance to learn a little bit more about the Southern programs here. We want to repeat how grateful we are to all the program directors, coordinators, chief residents, and other representatives who took time out of their day to join us here. Thank you again. See you in the main room.
I see everybody is joining us from the breakout rooms. Thank you all so much for intently listening about all that our Southern programs have to offer. I want to introduce to you Dr. Bria, who is our APPD representative, is going to tell us all of the benefits of that. So I'd like to introduce to everybody Dr. Bria.
Hi guys, thank you so much for allowing me to join you at the end. I don't know if this resonates with anyone, but it is back to school week here, and that always just leads to some bumps and some adjustments. So I'm so happy that everyone has been super flexible and accommodating for me. So thank you to the Future P's Reds leadership. I hope that you have enjoyed your night with the large programs from the Southeast region. And I cannot say enough. This Philadelphia girl cannot say enough about the Southeast region. So my family and I moved to the Orlando area almost exactly 7 years ago. And the Southeast region is a very large and very diverse region. You can be hiking and skiing in the mountains, and then you can be surfing and wakeboarding in the Atlantic Ocean, Gulf of Mexico. It is just an incredible place to live. The outdoor living, I mean, you really can't find a better place from a climate standpoint. In addition to that, our hospitals, and I know you were at the large program session tonight, our hospitals, our residents, our doctors take care of an incredible group of diverse patients, widely underserved. There's tons of rural areas that are represented within this region, and you really are going to be that lifeline, that layer of the onion that really keeps these kids safe and healthy so that they can go on to, achieve and exceed their full potential. So I'm so happy that you joined tonight. I'm so happy that you're taking a look at the Southeast region. We really hope to recruit you to this area. And then we also hope to recruit you to stay in this area because it is a really wonderful place to live, to work, to raise a family, to grow old. There's lots of retirement areas around here. So we can take care of you almost till the end. So I hope you had a great night. And I just want to make sure that you know that we are so excited that you're looking in the Southeast, and we hope to keep you here.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Bria.
Of course.
I am going to just flip ahead a couple slides here and just would like to say thank you so much for being here, program directors, APDs, program coordinators, and all of our students that are with us tonight. We do really appreciate you taking the time to learn about these programs and appreciate you hanging with us until almost the end of our webinar series. As you can see, and like I said in the beginning, we are on webinar 15 of 17 of our total series. So we have our last one for the summer. Next Monday, August 19th, we will wrap up our large programs with our Northeast webinar. And then we'll see you back in October to talk about interviews after we have all those applications submitted. And that stress is kind of at bay for a little bit before that October 10th when those interviews will get released. So I encourage you to scan that QR code, sign up for those last two webinars. If you've enjoyed them so far, we have a survey that you can take that you can tell us that. You can scan this QR code. And if you have any suggestions for how we can improve on the future programs from your perspective or students from your perspective, we would also love to hear it. This organization is in its third year of conception, and we're still trying to change and modify things so that every year we get better and better and provide more information for our students. So we would love to hear any feedback that you have. But once again, I would just like to thank you all for being here tonight. And with that, we are at the conclusion of our webinar. So I will say good evening to you all, but please stick around if you have any questions. And with that, thanks so much, everybody. Have a good night.